He's from Minnesota.
Fucking Craig from Fargo.
I would
You'll
love
We're gonna throw Craig in a fucking wood chipper if he's not careful.
Well,
I'm
he shouldn't
gonna
ask.
do it anyway. I don't care how careful he is.
Yeah. One thing Kit hates: bear podcasters.
Yep. Oh.
Theater of Delirium. Welcome to I Hope You Suffer.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we should, instead of just like a sensical tagline, we should just start saying like verb the noun band type shit.
I agree. The Juliana
Seize
theory.
the day.
Welcome to I Hope You Suffer.
Oh, geez.
Haste the day. Welcome to I Hope You Suffer.
Yeah.
Look, as somebody that listens to predominantly metalcore, I could probably pull up like fucking 800 bands. We're never gonna. I'm gonna.
Nathan's got us covered for the next 6 years of the podcast.
Yeah, at least the next fucking 500 episodes. This episode 391 of I Hope You Suffer.
That's a lot.
I'm Bloody Bird, which is one of the alternate titles for this movie.
Oh.
I'm the guy that I thought was Paul Sorvino, but was just a random Italian guy who looks like him.
I'm Lucifer the cat.
Hell yeah. Not as cool as the Russian cat from Batman the Animated Series, but the entire time I was watching
pretty
this,
cool.
Caitlin was like, "That's not what a cat sounds like." I was like, "It does in Italy."
Yeah. Have you been to Italy? Do they know?
We're going to talk about 1987's Stage Fright,
Whoa. That's
aka
what they sound like in Russian.
Bloody Bird,
Bloody Bird.
or Aquarius, or Deliria Aquarius,
Deliria
or
is...
Soundstage Massacre, which is probably what this should have been
Okay,
called.
Hear me out. We make a horror movie called Delirious Aquarium.
I'm in. Just
Trademark.
a bunch of delirious fish. That's
Where
it.
does Aquarius come from?
No idea.
Okay. Like, obviously, Bloody Bird makes sense. I don't really understand Theater of Delirium, but like, Deliria is the title, I guess.
I feel like I read something in the trivia as to like something about it being like why it was called Aquarius, or maybe it just was just that it was called that elsewhere. Let's see if I can find it, because there's like an absolutely insane trivia thing on here about Joe D'Amato. Oh yeah, but I don't know. I don't see this. But there's before his death in 1999, Joe D'Amato was planning to remake Stage Fright as Willie Shock's Treatment. The film was to take place in a TV station, which was reopening, where years earlier a TV host called Willie Shocks had killed his wife, who he found having an affair. Years pass and the TV station reopens for the murderers to start again. The killer would have worn a costume made out of light bulbs instead of an owl mask. That's in Stage Fright. Another idea Joe D'Amato had was set on board a cruise ship heading to Barcelona. The killer was to have been a mad violinist. I want both of those movies. I want to see what the suit made out of light bulbs look like.
Yeah, I hope the mad violinist has a suit made out of violins.
Same.
Like, how... Like, I love that the idea in this is that, like, you can't see the killer's face because there's an owl mask, but, like, they're switching it to be a suit made out of light bulbs, so, like, you can see the face? Is the face light bulbs?
I'm mostly just curious of what the light bulbs... I mean, I guess...
They're lit, right?
Studio,
like he's plugged in.
Right, yeah.
I guess technically the owl mask also doesn't really make sense, except for that it's in the play, but...
Right. Yeah. I love how these are like, yeah, these are different ideas for this movie that you have, and I'm like, no, those are just different movie ideas.
Yeah, it's just
This
it's
has
just
nothing to do
wildly
with
different
that.
things.
I mean,
Uh,
look, to
yeah,
be fair, I think it's good just to see Italy cannibalizing itself for remakes and shit instead of just being like, what's this movie that came out in America?
Yeah.
Dawn of the Dead. Well, this is now Dawn of the Dead
Yeah.
too.
Let's
right,
let's steal Jaws again.
right, yeah, fair.
So this was my pick for a good movie because I had a bunch of other movies that I was going to choose from, and none of which are streaming anywhere for free.
Yeah, that's kind of the issue I'm running into, so we'll see.
Oh, I
So
didn't check that on mine. I'm gonna do that. Whoops.
yeah, I mean, there were ones that I was like, I could probably find it, but it's probably just gonna look shitty. Like I want, like, or it was shit where it was like all only on Criterion or something, which Katie doesn't have, and I also currently don't have at the moment.
Yeah.
So, here we are. We're gonna talk about Stage Fright. This movie rocks. Kit, I believe you've seen this before.
I'm pretty sure I had, like, I don't know, a decade ago, 15 years ago, and I didn't really
Right.
pay a whole lot of attention to it the first time. But I was like, Italian slasher movie with a cool owl. I'm in.
Yeah. I'm mostly just kind of curious what Katie thinks as somebody that like I like I've because like I feel like most of the Italian stuff I've had Katie watch has either been something that they kind of are like, this is weird and cool, like Cemetery Man, or a thing where they're like, this is garbage, I hate it. So I was
Yeah.
curious what Katie would think about what leans more like straightforward American slasher, but just like Italian.
It gets real
Yeah,
Italian at the end.
I think yeah, that's true. I think that overall I actually really liked it. I remember you telling me about this movie a while ago, like just specifically that there was like a play about a serial killer and then for some reason the guy was wearing like an owl mask. And I had been wanting to watch it and yeah, I would agree. This is like to me when I watch it, I don't get like those like typical like Italian slasher vibes because this movie made sense to me and I was able to follow it
Yeah.
pretty well.
It,
I
Got a
feel like
plot you can understand.
yeah, I mean I feel like on a level of like um killing it's pretty similar where like pretty much every single person there's a lot of people that die and also like there's a variety and then they also do that thing where like you know the action's about to happen because all of a sudden the action music will start playing very loudly and then all of a sudden just cut away like cut off completely when like the action's done. So I was like, okay, I can relax now. But yeah, and like the ADRing obviously. But yeah, no, overall like I really enjoyed it. I don't really have like much bad to say, I don't think.
yeah, it's really good, and it's like kind of right at the point where like Italian horror movies were kind of like falling apart, you know. Like it's interesting that this is like the first movie Michele Soave directed because he jumps in right as sort of that boom of like Italian horror is like ending,
Yeah.
and
Late
then
80s.
he has like Cemetery Man, which is now considered like a cult classic or whatever, but like was not received well when it came out. And then he
Right.
just kind of, I don't know, started doing TV for a while, and I think retired for a little bit when he had kids. But like, I don't know, it's like a very it's just interesting because it's like like Lucio Fulci did like a handful of movies in America, but they are so fucking bizarre. Like The Beyond and I think House by the Cemetery is made in America, and they're like such a weird like nightmare logic to them that like they don't even feel like they're in America, whereas this is like supposed to be in America but filmed in Italy and just
Mm-mm.
feels so fucking weird. Like not no one in it is American, I believe. I think they're all Italian. It just, I don't know, it's very interesting little like flip flop on what was happening in the 80s with Italian horror.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you liked it because this movie rocks. And I feel like oh, go ahead.
Oh no, you finish. My thing is completely off topic.
Okay. I was gonna like say real quick, like I think it's interesting because it's like I see people like post about this movie a lot, but like at the same time, like I feel like not enough people talk about it because it
Yeah,
feels
it
like
feels like one of the better like Italian slasher movies, just better slasher movies in general,
yeah, it
honestly.
like it feels like if like outside of maybe like Suspiria, it feels like the one I like think most American sort of general horror fans would like. And it was the thing where like I was trying to see if I could find like if anyone had done like a commentary track on like a DVD or Blu-ray for it. I could not find anything, which was like surprising. So I feel like this is kind of like primed for somebody like Vinegar Syndrome to put out on like 4K with like a shit ton of extra features.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I feel like the aspect of it that I really like is, kind of like I jokingly said it made sense and I could follow it, but that's like kind of I feel like a huge part of like the most Italian slashers that I've watched. And like I haven't seen that many obviously because I've said it's not super my thing. There's a lot of like what's the right word? Like it's they're mostly about like vibes, right? And there's like a
Yeah.
lot of stuff that happens that you just are
It's
like it's like
atmosphere.
yeah, it's like not psychedelic is not the right word, but it's like dreamlike almost, and like stuff is happening that is hard to like piece together. And this does not do that. However, there are still scenes like in between what's happening that are like very creepy and like off-putting. Like I'm specifically thinking about the scene when we see the psychiatric hospital for the first time and there's a nurse like feeding a lionfish, but it's like drawn out and the
That
music
that
is
shit.
creepy.
That's
I
my
was like
favorite scene in the movie, I think.
I was like, what the hell
Incredibly
is going
synth
on?
solo, like really
Yeah.
fucking ripping. And
Oh,
she's
the
just like
score to this
looking at
is
the lionfish.
She was like, "Time
Amazing.
to eat," and then it's just like so there's like a lot of stuff like that that I feel like is like put in the movie that gives you that like off-putting sense that is like it like works for me in a way that some of the like dream-esque like sequences in some of the other movies just like don't because it's like I don't know uh, like it's like I guess maybe this movie is just like a little bit more down to earth compared to like what I would have expected. So I think that's why
well,
it worked for
it
me.
like it plays a lot more like we said like American slasher than it does like giallo.
Yeah.
Where like it there is a mystery to like the killer, sort of, but not to the point where like there's like a giallo where it's just like you don't know what the fuck is happening until the last 45 seconds when there's like a killer reveal and then credits.
Yeah. Right.
And I don't know, it rocks. All right,
Yeah.
end of episode. I hope you suffer. Bye
Yep.
bye.
That's it.
The score to this is a fucking banger,
Yeah.
and like I don't know, it's like a very interesting kind of like Michele Soave came up like working for Argento and Joe D'Amato and like a bunch of other kind of I think he worked on like Fulci movies and shit like just as like a crew member and then would like show up in some of the movies as like a cameo. And then this was his thing. I guess he like he was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think that movie came out very well. It was the first movie I made. Like I directed and I don't think I was ready, but like Joe D'Amato was the producer and was like, no, dude, you're ready. You should do this. And then like George Eastman like wrote it. There's just like this kind of who's who of Italian people behind it. And it's just very interesting that like Suave was just like, yeah, I don't know. I don't really think that one's very good. Like everyone
Yeah.
else I know has seen it's like, no, this movie rocks.
Yeah, it does. I mean, sometimes it's just gold. Yeah,
I
I
mean,
think there's also like a lot of really cool shots in this. Well,
well,
we'll
yeah,
get into it, but
it has like it's just like a cool amalgamation of, like we said, like storyline feels very American slasher, but still has that sort of like you could tell this is a dude who came up as a crew member for Argento and Fulci and whoever. Like it looks incredible and is just like shot really well. But yeah, we can get to the plot. I don't care. What was do you remember what thing you were going to talk about that was off topic?
Oh, do I? So this movie's pretty tame by like Italian standards, right?
Sure.
And in my viewing, the two most insane things to happen happened during the commercial break. Because I was watching on Tubi. And I got back-to-back commercials of former Flavor of Love contestant Ice trying to sling online gambling.
Hell yeah.
Followed by Trump's first-term press secretary, Sean Spicer, talking about CarShield auto insurance.
Oh.
That's baffling.
And
I wonder if that's like a regional
I was
thing.
losing my fucking mind. It's
Like-
like, what is going on?
I know I get like periodically, especially during like heading into like October, November during election years, I'll get a lot of like New Jersey politician ads.
Yeah.
But I feel like the rest of the time I don't get a lot of political-ish type things. It's usually, fucking whatever that insurance company is with the fucking emu.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
And like it's
Liberty,
just yeah,
Liberty Mutual.
yeah, it's
Sponsor
just,
us. I said your name on air. Sponsor us. Give us money.
You now owe us at least $6 million.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just get a lot of that shit, but I do remember very specifically for a while, almost every ad break on Tubi I had was like pro-Israel, never forget October 7th bullshit for like a year, and I was like, come on, man, like just let me watch a fucking movie.
Yee.
Remember when Sean Spicer was on fucking Masked Singer?
No, I do not remember that.
Or was he on Dancing with the Stars? Like as soon as he left,
Don't know that I'd be surprised with either, to be honest with you.
Okay, give me something to Google. Who? What?
Katie just could not wait to get on fucking Google.
Katie's locked in.
I think Sean Spicer was Dancing with the Stars. I think Rudy Giuliani was Masked Singer.
You're right.
That sounds.
It was
Dancing
right. With the Stars, season 28. Oh my god!
I remember Caitlin. We were like long distance. Was watching Masked Singer until the Rudy Giuliani thing happened.
Also, you're correct. Giuliani was on Masked Singer.
Can you
apparently
imagine?
People get them confused a lot, and apparently so was also Sarah Palin.
Oh, I believe it. I mean, one of the fucking
That's
judges
a name I
on
haven't
that
heard in a
show was
while.
Jenny McCarthy, so it's not like there's like a fucking real pedigree of winners on that show.
Yeah, I don't really understand. Like, I understand the concept behind Masked Singer, but I don't really understand how you're supposed to just like know a person who is not known for singing, like what they sing like.
Well, there's like an entire thing where they drop hints before they come out and sing. But like when Caitlin was watching it, I watched like a couple episodes while they watched it. Like we would just put it on the TVs and like be on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And like I remember like there would be like, here's the reveal. It's Gloria Gaynor or like whoever. And I'm like, this person's a fucking singer. Who gives a shit? Give me Arnold Schwarzenegger on here singing or something. Something that's like it's fair. What's the point of doing this when it's somebody that's already known for singing and they just haven't had a hit in like 20 years?
Yeah.
It'd just be like if all of a sudden like Billy Idol was on there or some shit. And I'm like yeah, fine, I guess. Who gives a shit? Give me somebody like Mama June.
They should put Chris Jericho back on there again.
Who did you say, Kit?
They should put Chris Jericho on there again.
Yeah, you could do a podcast while it was Masked Singer where he talks to Trump Jr.
It was immediately apparent that it was Chris Jericho.
Yeah, there was like one episode. I at this point I could not tell you who it was that they started talking, and I was like, "Yeah, I know who this is already."
Yeah. The Mass
like-
Talker. Now that's a show.
Yeah, Bass Podcaster. Trademark I will suffer.
All right.
I just remember there being one where it was just like there being a hint where it was just like it was just something real stupid along the lines of this wasn't the person obviously, but it's like imagine it was like Bill Clinton. They're like he likes to play saxophone and also got a blowjob in the White House, and they're just like who the fuck could it be?
Like the two most
Yeah. He was
like
the 42nd president of the United States, and
yeah.
actually, I don't know what president he was, but
Yeah, it would be like he used to be a football player, and also he drove a white Bronco and a very slow police chase.
right. God, I would have been fucking incredible if it was O.J. Simpson. He was just dressed as a giant knife.
A giant glove.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's just the
terrible.
black glove. All right, we can get a stage fright.
I'm so glad he's dead. Okay.
He's not
let's
dead. He does a
see.
podcast on Comedy Bang Bang World.
O.J. Simpson.
Carl Tart does a very stupid OJ impression, and they started a advice show.
Oh my god.
It's just
Okay.
it's so funny because he always is like he'll introduce Scott Ackerman. He's like my best friend, the person that's always had my back through everything, the person I always go to when I'm having trouble, Scott Ackerman. And Scott's like, come on, man.
Please no. Okay. So this movie starts with a cute cat who later we find out is named Lucifer. That actually I agree, but people do not handle him carefully in this. They're scruffing him and throwing him all over the place. So I didn't appreciate that, but it's fine. There is a woman standing on the side of the street and she's smoking a cigarette, and she walks in front of this dark alleyway where she's grabbed into the darkness. And I actually for a minute forgot that this was about a play, because the way that they're shooting it, obviously this is on purpose, but the way that they're shooting it is this is a real thing that's happening in the movie or whatever. But then all of a sudden people are poking their head out and they're like, what's that, what's that, what's that I hear? And I was like, oh, this is obviously a play, because of just the cadence in which these people all of a sudden were poking their head out of their windows and saying what's that or whatever. And I was like, oh yes, a play.
I forgot that if this opens with them doing the play.
Yeah.
And I was like, God, this set looks fucking terrible. This is the most backlot shit I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's pretty much just the reproduction of I don't really know where this is supposed to take place, but it looks trashy like New York, if you know what I'm saying. And yeah, people are quizzical, what's happening? They're running to see. They find the girl supposedly dead in the alleyway, and they're touching her face, touching her, whatever. And then all of a sudden a person leaps and barrel rolls over them and pops up and is wearing a full mask of a barn owl head, so all black, but then the biggest owl mask I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, it looks so sick.
It's very creepy. It's actual feathers. And like I said, it's huge. And everyone's dancing around to sax music. This is when this is because after he pops up, then they all come out and he's pretending he's trying to avoid them, and they're all essentially West Side Storying up to him, snapping and how they do. And then this is when it pulls back to reveal that everybody's on a stage, and Marilyn Monroe for some reason is playing the saxophone while people are chasing this killer. And then somebody pulls out a gun and holds it at the owl, and then they start ripping his clothes off. This is where I was like, and he's wearing a tan morpho suit underneath, so he's not naked or anything, but they're very clearly taking his clothes off. And then the woman who was his victim that he had killed in the alleyway has now come back to life and is I don't know, trying to seduce him or something. And I was like,
Well, like,
okay,
so because like the entire the
well,
that's like the most Italian idea of all time, and then the play is
yes,
about like
yes.
somebody who was sexually assaulted and then decides to then do it to the person that did it to them.
Right. And so that's where I was like, here's
What a
the
plan for a play.
yes. Here's first of all, like it's not unheard of to do a play about a serial killer, right? Like there are very famous plays about that kind of thing. This is the Italian twist on it exactly, where like yes. And like okay, so this is happening. She is her name is Alicia, I think, but sometimes people call her Alice and people call her Allie. I mostly call her Alice, so that's what I'm gonna call her. She is basically like on her knees in front of him, and she's kind of like I don't know, like gyrate around sort of, but she's not like close to him or anything. And so that's when I at this point was like, what the hell's going on here? And so Peter, who was the director, cuts the scene, essentially because like she's not being quote unquote enough of a whore. And I was like, ah, right, of course.
As
And
director, pretty good.
yeah,
Really knows
pretty
how to get
great.
the best out of his people.
And he's like, like you're trying to seduce him, like I need you to be more sensual, like you're not it's just not giving, right? And this other guy whose name is Ferrari, but I called him Investor. He's just like a guy who's like financially backing the play that Peter wrote. And so basically the other guy's like, I don't know, that seemed fine to me. Like, I don't actually really understand. He's me in this situation because he's like, I don't really understand like what's going on. Like, why is she seducing the killer? And that's when Peter is just like, you absolute plebe moron. Like, imagine how important this play will be if essentially what Nathan said, if like I'm gonna say a trigger word here, so skip a couple minutes. But literally, what he says is like, imagine how important it would be to the skip again. Imagine how important it would be if quote unquote the victim rapes her own murderer. And I was like, I don't feel that this is the idea that you think it is, my guy. Like, I don't feel like this is profound in any way, but
Yeah,
he
not a
thinks that
not a subversive major win
no,
on any front.
no, no, and he thinks that this is, like, the most, like, cerebral thing that's ever been written.
He's he's blowing people's minds.
He thinks so, and I'm
Check
like,
this shit out.
"Yes," and I'm
It
like,
might be the most like idea from a man
"Yes,
about
right,
Yeah.
like a man that's just like thinks
think
he's a
about it."
feminist
This is
sort of
Yes,
thing. Like
yes,
yeah.
yes,
This is from the
yes,
dude who brought you dude wipes, you know?
right,
yes.
yes. That you guys are picking up what I'm putting down here because I also want to, like, back up a little bit and remind him that, like, in the storyline of the play, she has been murdered. She's dead. So, like, it's just none of it works for me, but it's whatever. He is just like basically there's like a scene after this of like everybody kind of just like arguing, like being mean to each other, sort of, and just kind of like the minutia of like all of these people who are down on their luck together, just like struggling to do art, which actually I see, right? I get it. But yeah, fuck that guy because gross. So anyways, moving on. So there's a stagehand who is like in charge of the wardrobe who has just been um hired, and she's talking to Alice because she's basically just like like I know that your ankle's been hurting, like how are you feeling? And Alice is like, no, my ankle hurts really bad. And like mind you, she's wearing like really tall high heels to like be on stage. And we don't actually see her dancing like in the part of the play that we see, but I assume at some point she did, right? And so she's hurt her ankle and it really hurts. And Betty is just like, listen, I looked up in the paper, there's this hospital really close by. Looked up in the paper. She did not say that, and that's not a thing you do. I don't think. I don't know. Anyways, she's like, "Let me take you to this hospital. It's right up the street. Peter won't notice that we're gone. Like, don't even worry about it." And while this is happening, we also see the police basically like locking up some dude in a psychiatric hospital with like without any like um explanation at this point as to what's happening. This is the scene I was talking about earlier where it's just like a shot of through the fish tank of a nurse feeding a lionfish, and there's just like this really eerie music playing.
Should
And
be
I
20
said,
minutes longer if you ask me.
Yeah,
it's
should
very
have been
long.
the whole movie.
First of all, the nurse comes up and it shows on her badge like psychiatric hospital or whatever, and she's like, well, I don't know what she says, but she's like, "Oh, time to eat, time to eat," and she's like sprinkling whatever the fish eats. The fish comes out and is eating it, and they just like linger on it so long. And I said, the music leads me to believe that the fish is also evil. It's like really, really menacing.
All fish are.
And
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well maybe something's gonna happen with the fish because like they're the lionfish quills are poisonous or whatever. Nothing ever happens with this fish, which like for some reason makes it really more unsettling to me because I'm like, what was going on with that? I don't
Can
know.
you imagine if, like, at the end of the movie, she pulled off the owl head and it was just the lionfish?
Yeah, I could. Lionfish massacre. Yep. So there's like also this whole thing where the girls have to talk Willie, who is like the janitor handyman guy, about unlocking the back door for them so that they could leave and go to the hospital. And Willie's like, "No, I'm not supposed to do that. Like Peter will get mad." And they're just like, please." And he's like, "Okay, anything for you," and lets them out or whatever. So the girls show up to the hospital, and Alice is like, this is a psychiatric hospital. They're not gonna be able to like this is like not an ER." And Betty's like, "Hey, aren't psychiatrists like also doctors?" And I was like, "Well, she has a point, but also no." So they
They're
go in
pretty much the
there.
same.
Yeah, they go in there and like argue with the nurse at the front desk, and she's basically just like, "This isn't that kind of hospital. Like, we can't help you. You need to like move your car. You're blocking the entrance, etc., etc." Some random doctor comes up and it's just like, "Hey, oh, you're in trouble. I'll see you. Come on back." And that nurse was just like, piece of fucking
I
shit.
was
Like,
just almost had him out of here.
literally, yeah. So So they're going back to the doctor's office. Alice stops in front of the room of the guy that we saw earlier and just kind of like stares into the room, which is kind of rude. But he like sits up and sees her, and then she's like, "Ah," and she like runs. So while they're in the doctor's office, they're basically just like, "Hey, weird." Oh my gosh.
There's this fucking thing I'm trying to figure out in my house that like this old Verizon hookup that like will just beep periodically.
Sounds
So
great.
I was trying to see if I get it turned off, which apparently I did not. It just beeped longer.
Yeah, it's like, actually, no, I'm here. So, yeah, they're basically just like, "Hey, I just like walked by this room and saw that there's just bars in front of the door. What's that about?" And the doctor is like such a gossip. He's like, "Oh my God, guys, actually, what we have here is they just brought him in. It's Irving Wallace. He was this actor who killed and dismembered 16 people. Yeah, he's right next door. Crazy, huh?" And they're like, "Oh." Betty's like, "Oh
Cool
yeah,
and fine.
yeah, right, cash."
Unbothered. Thanks.
That doctor cannot wait to tell. Like, I feel like that should be a secret. Like, I feel like people should not know that. But like,
Right.
yeah, so the doctor is just like, it's like the best day of his life. He doesn't care. He gives Alice a shot for her ankle, and it's basically just like, "Hey, you should be good for a couple hours, but like that's pretty much all I can do for you." And they're like, "Okay, cool." So they leave, and basically like when Alice was like standing in front of the door, this like orderly came and was like, "Hey, get out of here. Go on, get." And so now when they're leaving, it like shows this like going past the door and then going inside to where assumingly Irving Wallace is sleeping soundly. But when we get closer, we see it's actually the orderly that has been drugged.
Oh
Oh my
shit.
God.
Dun dun.
So the girls get back in the car and drive back to the rehearsal, and they get out, and like this is like one of the shots that I thought was pretty cool. Like we obviously know kind of like what's going to happen at this point, but the girls like get out of the car and like go walk back to the rehearsal building, but the shot stays like in the front seat of the car, and like as they're approaching the door, Irving Wallace just like sits up really slowly, but he's like all in shadow, and it I thought it was a cool like scene.
Yeah.
Peter is mad because he did indeed try and call Alice, even though they were like doing a different scene when she left, and realized that she wasn't there. And it's basically just like, I also forgot to, not that this totally matters, but I forgot to mention that like Betty was kind of like, talking to Alice about how like she should sleep with Peter, or did she sleep with Peter, whatever. Like she thinks that Alice is getting special treatment or whatever, and Alice is like, "Oh, well, oh, too late. Like, yeah, I did sleep with him, but the problem is that I won't do it again. So now he's like mistreating me essentially." And so when she comes back in after, she's trying to tell him, my ankle really hurts and like I can't deal with this anymore, and he kind of just like brushed her off and was like, "Shut up," essentially. And so when she comes back in, he's like, "Oh, hey, where have you been? Thanks for joining us," like the podcast guy that he is.
Hmm.
And he basically is just like, "You know what?" He fires her in front of everybody. He's like, "Clean out your dressing room. You're fucking fired." Betty, meanwhile, has been
Seems like a bad idea when your play is opening soon.
Right?
Yeah, right? But so then he's like, "Oh, this other girl, Laurel, who very obviously is jealous and has it out for Alice, like, Laurel's gonna take your place." And so Laurel's all like, "Hee hee." Like, literally, that's like what her ADR sounded like. And I was like, "Okay, but sure, but who's replacing Laurel's part?" Who unfortunately is also in a scene where she's being like sexually assaulted. And I was like, how many, like, what is this? I would not be going to see this play, is all I'm saying. Like, what the hell?
What if you were told there's a dude in a giant owl mask?
Like, that sounds cool, but then I don't know. I'd be pretty upset when I got there and had to sit through whatever the hell was going on in this visionary's brain. So, while this is happening, Betty is like, "Oh shoot, I forgot to turn my lights off." So she goes back out there, and she gets to her car, and the hatch is open in the back. Again, not to victim blame, but if I saw that, I'm absolutely not approaching my car. I'm leaving immediately. You just came from a psychiatric hospital,
You
girl. Like,
own
are
my
you
car
kidding
now.
me?
You can just have it.
Literally, you want it, it's yours. Here you go. I throw the keys in. I'd be like, good luck with your project. Like, there's absolutely no way. She's just like, oh, like in her head, did she think, oh, I left lights on and for some reason opened the trunk, even though
And
I
my
didn't.
pickaxe is missing.
Right. So she goes up to it and immediately, of course, starts absolutely piss pouring rain. It's thundering, it's lightning out of nowhere. So she shuts the hatch and then gets in her car for some reason and is just like sitting there and is now extremely spooked because the vibes are off, right? She's like looking around, she thinks she hears stuff. I also never saw her turn off the lights, and I didn't see the lights in her car on. So I think she's
You don't
you
know how
know,
cars in Italy work.
that's fair.
Poorly.
That is fair, actually, I don't.
I've been there. It's terrifying.
So she's in there all spooked. We see, there's like a scene of her, like we're in the back seat and she's like looking back at us and we see somebody just like running across the front of her car or whatever. And I was like, oh my God, no. And so she finally gets out of the car to like go back into I was like, girl, you should have driven away at this point. Her instincts were just not working for her in this situation, because she gets out of the car and is immediately pickaxed in the mouth. She's just immediately gone.
Fucking
That
rocks.
shit, yeah, that shit looked so cool. She
Yeah,
sold it so well.
she did. So RIP, I'm sorry, but I just I knew as soon as she approached that and like
Yeah,
shut the hat, I was like, that's it
you were
for her.
cooked.
Yep.
That was it.
Um, so having been fired during this time, which like Alice thinks this is the worst thing that could have happened, but little does she know. So she leaves and she's about to get into her car, but she hears Lucifer meowing. And Lucifer's like, "Hey, bitch, your friend's dead over here." And so Alice goes over and finds Betty's body. Of course, is screams and upset. She runs back into the rehearsal and is like screaming and tells everybody. Obviously, the cops come. Um, Everybody obviously is like sad and confused. Peter is fucking stoked. He's like,
Hell yeah.
I actually
We're
could
gonna
not
sell
have.
so many tickets.
Yeah, he's like, I actually could not have asked for better publicity for my play about a serial killer than having one of the people killed right outside.
This
Like,
dude has real Spider-Man turn off the dark director energy.
Yeah.
listen, I got to admit, it was one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life. You can't even perceive of its greatness unless you saw it.
Look,
Um,
all I know is your play's probably not good unless like 3 people die before it opens.
Yeah.
that's
true.
probably fair. Yes.
And obviously
Look at
U2 has
Macbeth.
to do the music for it.
Right. Yeah, of course. Duh. Okay. Yeah, so Peter's like, this is actually really awesome. I'm actually so glad this happened.
The fucking insane thing.
Like, absolutely. I'm not gonna lie, Peter was like one of the most convincing real characters I've seen in a movie in a long time because nothing that he did surprised me at all. Except for at the end, actually. So he tells the investor is like, this is actually a little morbid, don't you think? Like, like, we just hired her, she's dead now. Like, how are we supposed to go on? And he was like, yeah, listen, the show must go on. Betty would have wanted us to continue the show.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know about that.
This is a thing she absolutely would have cared about and wanted, guys. Okay?
She literally would have been like, guys, don't mind me dying here in the parking lot. Just go put on the best fucking show you can. And so he literally tells the investor, like, listen, go get more money together. Tell everybody except for the core cast to leave. Like, I'll explain later. Also, tell that reporter I want to talk to them. Go fucking tell him yourself, Peter. Are you kidding? So, yeah, he gives a speech about how the show must go on. Like, Betty would have wanted it this way. Like, this is going to be amazing. Like, he basically is like, all of us suck and we're not famous. But this girl died right before the show started. If we can actually speed it up and have the show come out in a couple days instead of 2 weeks and like capitalize off of her death, like, we could all be famous. Isn't that cool? And Alice is like, no, actually, I do not think that this is cool. I'm leaving. And Peter's like, great. Except the thing is that either like you are going to stay and do this and everybody's going to get paid overtime. Ferrari, the investor, has the money ready to go. He literally has a suitcase full of money. He's like, or if you leave, the entire show's canceled. So what do you think? And everybody, of
Fucking
course,
just
is
leave. Who gives a shit?
like, honestly, for real. But every single person that's in that play is like, okay, well, I'm actually really, really broke. And so I want to stay and like put on the show. And
Yeah.
so Peter is like, okay, great. One little thing, instead of this night owl is the name of the killer in the play. He's like, instead of the owl character being like an anonymous guy, we're now gonna call him Irving Wallace.
Good idea.
Who I guess I forgot to say that, like, oh, no, I did. Irving Wallace was, like, a real-life serial killer in this world,
Yeah,
and
the guy
so
in
right,
the
yes,
asylum or whatever.
right.
What if he
kills
was
people.
Irving Zistman?
I wish. Just Johnny
That'd be
Knoxville.
incredible. Johnny Knoxville's out here beating people to death with his saggy old balls.
Ew.
Fucking Spike Jones shows up as the lady. Can't remember who the old lady's name was.
What a dream.
Stage Fright Jackass crossover we all need.
Yeah.
I would watch that.
For next year's Oscars, you know, they do the spoofs at the start.
That'd be so funny. They just let Johnny Knoxville host, and he's like, I heard this idea on this podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, they're basically like, we're gonna do it or it's canceled. And so Alice is like, okay, fine. Because everyone else is like counting on this essentially. There's this like, it doesn't actually really matter that much, but there's this like side story about one of the girls in the play finding out that she's pregnant with like one of the stagehand guys. And apparently this has happened before, but this time he decides that they're gonna keep it and they're gonna do this right. Okay. Um One of the Laurel, basically, I don't know like what was going on with her character before, but essentially, Peter tells her to go get dressed and like wear something more sexual or whatever versus this like bodysuit thing that she's wearing. And so she goes in and there's kind of like a little bit of a jump scare where she's like locked in the dressing room and she's like spooked and somebody's trying to open it and she's scared and like of course we're meant to think that it's Irving Wallace. But she thinks that it's like one of the other guys messing with her. It's basically just like a jump scare type situation. But during this, like everybody like kind of like coalesces because she's screaming. And this is when I think his name was Brett, who plays the owl killer in the play, is basically just like, oh, weird, my owl costume is missing. Oh, that's not suspicious at all,
Yeah,
I wouldn't think.
nonchalantly. Why is my murderer's uniform gone?
Where, right? During this time where people are in fact getting murdered. Weird. This is when we see it's like revealed to us, not them, that the real killer Irving Wallace is wearing the owl costume. So the show rehearsal picks back up and it's basically this like girl who was like dancing around in like a nightie essentially and this is like so funny to me. I actually really liked this scene because there's like this music playing that's like like kind of classic and
Mhm.
she's like dancing around and the owl but the real killer comes out and like they had said offhandedly that he was an actor. He doesn't really do anything that leads me to believe that he was an actor because he comes out and he's just like standing behind the alleyway like why do I always forget what that's called? Fire escape.
Ooh.
The fire
Oh, it was
escape.
No.
like an alleyway?
Like,
Yeah,
this
I
is
was
not the
like, you
first
just
time
said it.
this is not the first time this is happening to me. He's, like, standing behind there with, like, the owl mask on, just, like, so awkwardly, and
The
Peter's like
alleyway.
there you go.
Sorry.
Yep. And Peter's like, "Hello, approach, come on." And so he's, like, very awkwardly, like, tentatively, like, walking towards her, and, like, if you're the director and the other actors, like, don't you realize something weird's going on because he's not, like, dancing in like he's supposed to be? He's just, like, awkwardly, like, walking towards her. It doesn't matter.
It's making an artistic choice.
Well, you know what? Fair. That's fair. And so he comes out to her and basically he's like, like approaches her and the girl who, has no idea. And so he comes out and Peter's like, kill her. And so the killer's like, all right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
if you say
okay.
so. And so he starts like strangling her and Peter's like, come on, like be more and like actually strangling her. And you can tell that she's like being strangled.
Like, the
And
scene rocks, but it's so insane if you think about it in terms of, like, the real world. Like, it's just like,
yes,
it's
that's
like,
part
yeah,
of
do more. Like,
yeah.
she's clearly being stabbed to death, and it's just, they're just like, harder.
Yeah, so, like, I loved that, so he's, like, strangling her at first, like, actually strangling her. She's like, "Bleh," like, being really strangled, and Peter's like, "Come on, kill her, what are you doing?" And so, I'm just gonna call him the killer, takes out a knife, and Peter goes, "What's a knife got to do with anything?"
Yeah.
Like, okay. So he starts, like, stabbing her a bunch of times, and they're all just, like, watching, like, "Oh,
Yeah.
wait a
Huh.
second.
So clearly they
Wait."
just planned this on their own.
Right, because
He's
also there's, like, blood coming out of her, and he basically, like, ends up dropping her on the ground, and Alice is like, "Wait, that's the guy."
And he
yeah.
just casually walks off stage.
Yeah, because, everybody else for some reason thinks that this is still Brett, and, like, n like everybody's a little bit confused because like obviously stabbing isn't a part of the play, but they're like they have no
Last minute rewrite.
aside from like Betty getting killed in the parking lot, essentially, they have like no real reason to think that like somebody would be killed and also right in front of their faces, right? And I think I also forgot to mention because it doesn't add a lot to the movie really to me, but like there's a police cruiser out in front of the playhouse this entire time, but Peter's like locked the doors and given this girl who just got stabbed, I did forget to mention this, the key because like he didn't want anybody to leave. He wanted everyone to stay, do the rehearsal through the night so that they could get ready to put the play on earlier. And so they're completely locked in and there's like huge metal doors locking them in so they can't like the cops it's also thunderstorming so the cops can't hear anything that's going on, right? So the cops are just like sitting in the car and like every now and then it'll like flash over to the cops and the cop is like they're just like having their like cop banter where the guy's like, oh, can you believe it, my wife wants me to eat healthy, she gave me spinach, just like shit like that.
I was upset because I was immediately like, spinach fucking rocks. Like,
Yeah,
why are you
I will
being
take.
why are you being a
I'll eat
turd
some
about it?
spinach.
Yeah,
Spinach
I'd go
I'm
for
having
some
some
spinach
spinach
right
for
now.
dinner.
I guess I would be a little bit upset if like my entire dinner was just like steamed spinach and nothing else, but like chill out.
Let's put some butter on there. It'd be good.
Just
Now,
add back a little steam.
if it was like a plate of collards, I would be really excited. Okay, so yeah, so killer, he's stabbing her a bunch. Alice is like, "Hey, that's the fucking guy. That's the killer. That's the real killer." Um
It's
He's
so
over
funny.
there.
They're just like, oh, I think that's the real killer.
they're
Let's
like
just let him get off stage.
yeah, because he just
Yeah.
like walks away and somebody is like, "Why would Brett do that?" And Alice is like, "You fucking idiot. It's not like what do you mean?"
God,
So
actors
yeah,
are fucking dumb.
like for real. The girl dies. She ends up just like dying. Peter's like, call an ambulance or whatever, and they're like, oh, don't worry, like we're whatever. And she just like immediately dies, right? As Peter is like, go get the cops. The cops are right outside, and one of the guys is like, well, the door's locked. And then the investor guy is like, okay, where's the key? And so Peter's like, I gave it to her. I told her to hide it. And so she's fucking bleeding out, having been murdered in front of everybody while nobody did a thing. And the investor's literally shaking her, like, where's the key? Where's the
Yeah.
key? Where's the
Tell us
key?
where the key is.
I was like, oh my God. And she just dies. So now they don't know where the key is, right? Okay. Now we get a POV of the killer running around behind the stage, just like scampering around. He turns the lights off, like the set lights or whatever, so it's like dark in there. And I was like, oh, good thing they have just a random flaming barrel in there.
Yeah.
Actually, turned out to be real good. But at the time, I was just like, why is this here?
Do you
So
guys not have a flaming barrel in your house?
I
Yeah.
don't.
Why not?
Interesting.
Wow.
I'm sitting on one right now.
Sitting
I
on
don't
it.
know. I guess that my housewarming present got lost in the mail from you.
We're just gonna send you just a metal trash can.
You have to send it on fire.
Yeah.
So
USPS loves that.
right, yes. It's like I've sent you like 3. For some reason, they're not making it to you.
Yeah,
I can't
I don't know
imagine
why they're not
why.
getting there.
The papers are like 3. A FedEx trucks burst into flames. Okay,
Just
so
fucking see if I can order one on Amazon.
a flaming barrel.
Flaming barrel.
Yeah, by Amazon, can
Flaming
you just
barrel
send
of
it on
trash.
fire?
Oh, see, that is like a business that we can tap here. Our own flaming barrel of trash delivery service. It's kind of like when you don't like people and you send them glitter, but
Yeah.
you do
Hit
like
us
them, so
up.
you
We'll
send them.
mail. If you
Yeah.
got somebody that's pissing you off, we will send them a flaming barrel.
Yeah.
This reminds me of
filled
Always
with
Sunny.
glitter.
Whenever they're selling the barrels of oil to
The
people door to door.
gasoline.
Yeah.
Shane and I were just talking about that. Shane was like, now the gas is gonna be super expensive. We should just start a fucking
It's
rogue
time.
gas door-to-door delivery service.
Yeah.
Wow. How topical. Okay. So everyone is scared because the lights got turned off. They're scared of the dark, so they all run off together. The investor is like, "Oh my gosh, the money." So he goes to like gather up the money, but of course he's like dropping it everywhere or whatever. And while he's getting the money, the owl kills him. Um, his death was kind of off screen, I think, if I remember. So all of the rest of the actors and everybody like hide in the dressing room and basically are trying to discuss what to do. The one girl who's like pregnant and Laurel are like freaking out and like screaming and shit a lot for the rest of the movie. And basically they're just like arguing, right? Because they're like, okay, well, listen, like there's got to be a skeleton key for the door. So it's got to be in Willie's office, who's like the janitor and handyman
I
guy.
love the idea of a door that locks that you can't get in or out from like
Yeah.
either side.
Right, it's strange.
Pretty sure that
Yeah.
is a safety hazard.
Like I mean,
Look,
as we've seen, this movie was actually just like an
Yeah,
OSHA
this is an OSHA video they make
warning.
you watch
Yeah.
on your first day at a job.
Yep.
hey, sometimes you've got to keep actors locked away, okay? Especially
I
theater
you know what?
actors.
You
Yeah,
know
it's
what?
a good
I agree.
idea.
I agree. So they're like, we got to go try and get the skeleton key. And Peter's like, okay, well, I don't think that we should split up anymore. Like, we should all go to try and find this key. And Alice is like, no, my ankle hurts too much. Like, I cannot make it. And Peter, basically, at this is where I'm saying, like, he surprised me because I don't feel like this is typical behavior. He realizes and admits that this entire thing is his fault. Because he said if he had just listened to Alice about how her ankle was hurting, like none of this would have happened because she wouldn't have went behind his back to the psychiatric hospital, and then that guy wouldn't have like broken out and followed her there. Um, which like fair, but also I don't think you expect to go to the hospital and have somebody like follow you back and then kill everybody. Do you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
like,
I
I
do.
expect it every time.
you know what? Actually, that is actually so fair.
Stimulated.
Um, yeah. And so he's like, if I would have just listened to you, like none of this would have happened. And I was like, yeah, also though, true. So they decide that Peter and the baby daddy guy are gonna go look for the key. Everybody else is gonna go stay in the dressing room. Okay. Also, like weirdly, when they leave the dressing room, they like lock the door from the outside. And I was like, again, what? Why are all the locks backwards in this fucking
Yeah, so they installed everything backwards.
You know how
yeah.
like in the southern hemisphere, like toilet water
Yeah,
goes like the
right.
opposite way.
Yeah,
It's just that in Italy, all the blocks are
Oh,
backwards, basically.
yeah.
yeah, okay,
So they're
great.
driving on the other side of the road.
That sounds great. You're entering the house from the inside. That
Hmm
makes
Yeah.
sense.
You have to go underground and climb up through a ladder to open your door.
Okay.
There's a reason why they have like such short work days there, and it's because it takes so fucking long to get
Yeah.
into your house and out of it.
Yeah,
Spend half the day trying to get into your house.
that makes sense to me. That tracks. So yeah, so Peter and the baby daddy are gonna go. Elsewhere, the killer's just like living it up. He's running around the set. He's like blasting Darude Sandstorm out there. And so they're
That's the
like
lone improvement this movie could have made. Just Sandstorm playing constantly in the
he
background.
he really does actually blast like the stage music, but in my mind I was like, wouldn't that be so funny if like it was just like do-do-do-do-do.
He's like slowly walking up on the stage to stab that woman.
He's like, I need my theme music, please. That actually, yes, this would be a 5-star movie if like every time the action music like suddenly blasted and it was like Darude Sandstorm every single time.
Would have
I
taken it
think
from a 4.5 to 5 for me.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's like the only improvement. So, um, while they're trying to find the key, the killer is like trying to get into the dressing room all of a sudden. And so that makes that everybody else has to like go up to the door and barricade it in because again, like the door unlocks from the outside. So like again, I just like don't really know how they felt like that was safe. So he's trying to like open the door. They're pushing on it to make sure that he can't just like open it or whatever. And like while that's happening, he like busts his arm through the door and like grabs one of the guys and then like drill bits him through the door through the
Oh, it
middle of his
rocks.
stomach. And they're just like, oh no, you know?
I mean, I don't know what I would do in that scenario. I'd just be like, this fucked up. I guess
I'm like, what can you do? Like
time
they're
to just
basic
disassociate.
like yeah, essentially they're like pushing on the door. The girl who's pregnant is just literally actually standing there screaming at the top of her lungs. And at one point, I think Alice goes, "Can you stop screaming and do something?" And I was like, for real.
Like, do what
Um,
though?
I don't know, hit his arm with something, anything. Something other
Nah.
than fucking screaming at the top of your lungs
No, then
for
you get your fucking hand drilled through. I don't want that.
well, um,
Didn't think
so
about
the
that, did you?
so, no, you got me. You got me there. So while they're like searching in for the key, the music suddenly cuts off, and Peter and the baby daddy can hear everybody else screaming, because that guy's getting drill bitted. And so they run over and the killer's gone, but they see that the guy has been killed. And Peter is enraged at this point, and he decides that he's like, you know what? I'm not going to run anymore. You know what we're going to do? We're going to go to the workshop and get some weapons, and we're going to fucking kill that guy. And I
We're
was
gonna
like,
get out there and
okay.
practice this play.
Yep. What if they literally were just like, I mean,
We have work to do, people.
yeah, like, do you want to be famous or not? Like, unfortunately, I
Get
think
it
we're just
together.
going to have to take the chance he's
You,
going to
you
kill one
all,
of us.
you all said you're broke. Do you need your $100 or what?
Like, for real. After taxes, you get 20. So do you want your 20 bucks or not?
Yeah.
So they do that. They get weapons from the workshop, and then there's kind of like this whole scene of them like traversing the playhouse, like trying to find where the killer is, right? At one point, Laurel is going up the ladder and Alice is like climbing after her. And she's like, "Oh, wait for me," like her ankle's hurt or whatever. And Laurel like kicks her, I think, and she falls off the ladder and like hits her head and she's passed out for the next like 15 minutes of this movie. So eventually, it's Peter, the pregnant lady, baby daddy, and Laurel. And they all go up into the attic. They've chased the killer up into the attic and they see him like the owl head, like peeking around the corner or whatever. And so Peter just goes over there and starts like wailing on him with an axe. And afterwards, he's like, "Oh, whew, well, I took care of that, like the man that I am." And Laurel is like, how come his hands are tied together? And when they take the
Yeah.
mask off, it turns out that it was actually Brett who was like the original actor for the killer in the
Way to go,
costume.
dumbass.
Yeah, not great. This next one actually really got me. I was like, "Oh." So basically like once it's revealed that this was Brett, the pregnant girl is like "Oh my God, oh my God, we have to get out of here." And she like is freaking out as she's doing the entire movie. All of a sudden the attic, like they're in the attic, the boards just like fall and she falls through the floor and she's like holding on, like the top of her body and she's like, oh my God. And so like Peter and the baby daddy go and they're like pulling on her and trying to like get her up and they can't at first. And then all of a sudden her body like flies up and he falls backwards. The bottom half of her body is just gone. And there's like entrails flying through the air. I was like, "Oh my, how did he even do that?"
Sick.
It was incredible. And so like when the baby daddy lands, like her body's laying there and he's like, "Oh man, oh whatever her name was." And then he looks and like, yeah, her body's missing. And I was like, "Oh my God." He is enraged at this point, of course. And so he basically just like takes an axe and like jumps down into the hole where the murderer is. But he is immediately chainsawed. So, I mean, well, whatever. He's dead. Um, Peter, for some reason, like you can hear the chainsaw. Peter, for some reason, is like putting a flashlight down there, like, "Hey, what's going on down there?" And Peter and Laurel see that guy getting chainsawed and are just like, "Oh my god," and they, like, run or whatever. They get to the front door, and Peter's trying to, like, axe the door open, and the owl comes up behind them, like, kind of slowly, like, revving his, like, chainsaw, of course, and Laurel is like, "Oh my god," and Peter, like, pushes Laurel in front of him towards the killer, and he, like, chainsaws her, like, neck and shoulder or whatever, and, the killer just continues to come toward him, and Peter's like, "Hey, how about, like, you just leave me alone and I'll leave you alone? Like, we don't have to kill each other. Just, like, chill. We can just, like, let bygones be bygones." And the owl immediately saws his arm off. And he's like, "Oh no, I guess not, right?" And so the chainsaw gets stuck or whatever, and Peter's like, "Oh, great, I'm safe." But then the owl guy just like picks up Peter's axe and chops his head off. And
It looks so good from
It
the
it's
like
like,
rocks.
side angle they shoot it. Because
yeah,
it's
it's
like he
like
hits it with a baseball bat and his head just flies off.
like it literally goes so far. It was like a home run. It was insane. Um, So now Alice wakes up. She's been just like laying at the bottom of the ladder, passed out for all of this time. And there's like a single feather on her face. She gets up. At this point, there's still half an hour of the movie left. And I was like, what could even happen? And so she gets up and she's like looking around. And it's like very, very quiet, very still. There's no sound going on. And so she's like looking around, like, what's the haps? Like, what has been happening this whole time? And eventually she follows a trail of blood into the showers where she finds Laurel. Laurel is like bleeding out from her shoulder at this point from the chainsaw wound. And she starts to Alice starts to hear footsteps, so she hides in the shower stall that's, like, next to Laurel, and, the owl comes and gets Laurel and, like, picks her up. Laurel's, like, looking right into her eyes, and I just know Laurel was about to be like, "Hey, she's here!" But then the owl just, like, stabs her, and she dies. And he takes her away. Um Alice, like, leaves and just is, like, wandering around again, like, pretty chill. She ends up in Willie's office, and she starts looking for the key. She doesn't find it, but what she finds is a gun. So she takes the gun, of course. She takes also just, like, a ring of keys.
This gun storyline is so funny.
Yeah.
I was like, "What?" So, okay, so she has the keys. She's trying the keys in the front door, but none of them work. She hears the owl come and like put on music, so she kind of like hides and watches as he basically like put music and then has all of the bodies of all the people that he's killed that he puts up on stage and kind of like poses with them, and then also just has like bags and bags of feathers that he's like putting in their mouths, putting in their wounds, just like staging it.
It's so sick.
It's very weird. Then he just sits down in an armchair and Lucifer's there and he's just like petting Lucifer. This entire time, by the way, he's just like wearing this realistic owl mask. At this point, it is bloody, of course, because he's been killing people, and it's like very weird. Um
It's like the just like sort of image of him just sitting on stage with like all of the feathers and then like the dead bodies is so cool.
Yeah, because I feel like the bodies also look like it's obviously the people like pretending to be dead or whatever, but I feel like the way that they did their makeup and how still everybody is was like it made the whole thing like extremely cool looking. And again, there's like a fan that he turns on, so the feathers are just like flying everywhere. And yeah, he's just petting Lucifer.
Yeah.
Alice
Looks
sees
incredible.
it's crazy. So Alice sees that the key to the front door is on the stage, like sitting between one of the slats, so that the top of the key is like poking out. And so she basically goes behind like the walls or whatever to sneak under the stage. And there's like a really, really cool scene here too, where it's shot from like so she climbs in a tunnel that's directly underneath the stage. And so there's like all of these like feathers falling down, and she's like crouched under the stage, but the shot is from like way far back, and the lighting, it was just like extremely cool.
Yeah,
So
rocks.
she is trying to get the key out of from between the boards, but it's like kind of stuck, and she's like wiggling it or whatever, and she picks up some kind of like stick pen that's like really long that she's like sticking up there to try and like pry it loose essentially. And as the key is like jiggling around, Ludicer.
Ludicrous.
I actually almost said ludicrous. Could you imagine? Okay, I
If Ludacris showed up in this movie, it's 6 out of 5 stars.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I know I said before Darude Sandstorm would have like put this over the edge, but I think also Ludacris showing up. It like he takes it off. He's like, "I was the masked singer." There you
It's just
go,
like a
buddy.
fucking
Tied it all
car
back
just comes
together.
smashing through the wall to save him.
Lucifer notices the key jiggling, of course, because he's a cat. So he jumps down and he comes over and he's like looking at the key jingling around. She eventually gets it, but it falls through right when the music cuts off again, and it makes a loud like clanging because the floor underneath her is cement. And she's like, "Oh shit." Um Obviously the owl has heard her, and he like stands up and he's like starts walking around. He picks up Lucifer and it's just like walking around the stage, so it's like showing her, and you can just like hear his footsteps on the stage or whatever. And so she starts to like leave, but as soon as she gets to the opening of the stage tunnel, he like reaches down and grabs her, and it's like it was startling. Like, you know, he's gonna grab her, but I don't know. I feel like that's like a staple of like Italian horror, was like the way that they did that. She tries to shoot the gun at him, but I wrote the gun is empty. It sounded like it was clicking to me, okay, but she literally can't, she can't shoot him. So she stabs him with the straight pin that she used to like get the key free or whatever. And she runs over to the door. She puts the key in. She's like trying to turn it, but she just like can't do it because she's too like stressed out, I guess. And so he chases her around for a while. Eventually, she ends up climbing up into the scaffolding, and she's like,
Scaffold.
she's like crouched in the corner, and he's like coming at her, and she picks up a fire extinguisher and like sprays him in the face, and he's like, and he just like falls off the scaffolding. And so he's like holding on, she's trying to like get him to fall or whatever. And so it like punks her a few times because he seems like he's fall, and he does, but then there's just like a rope there, and he like grabs onto the rope, and he's like, this is where if I was the killer, she'd be free, because there's no way I'm able to climb a rope like that. There's just no way. And he's just like climbing it. She picks up his axe and is like axing, trying to like cut the rope, but it's like, I don't know, like an industrial stage rope, so it's covered in like rubber or whatever.
Industry.
So yeah, yes. And so like it goes back and forth between him like climbing this rope and her like desperately trying to like cut it or whatever. And right as he gets to the top, she cuts through the rope, and he just like falls and like slams into the ground, like hits his head on a thing. And it's just like down there now.
That's where he lives now.
Yep.
Yeah. Home forever.
She's like, "Oh, whew, that was rough. That was a rough day on set," as they
That
say.
was weird.
This play is getting real weird.
Right. So she
Yeah, this
climbs
is all
down.
rehearsal.
I was gonna say,
Yep.
can you imagine if the end of this movie was just the reveal that like it was all rehearsal? It was no one actually died.
I had two theories.
It was the
I
first
had
night of the opening play.
Yeah, one of mine was that's one of them, and then the other one I'll get to in a second. So she goes to leave. She's like walking. I don't know why, again, not trying to victim blame, but I don't know why, like, if you've been chased by this killer for like an hour, you would then walk directly next to his body after you think he's dead. But she
You've seen
does
a
that
slasher movie before.
right, literally. And he grabs her, of course, and then she's like, "Oh no!" And luckily, she's standing right next to a flaming barrel of trash that we delivered, and
Yep.
she knocks it down on him. And I was like, it was so funny to me that I like specifically was like, "That's weird. Why is there a flaming barrel?" And then she fucking uses it to kill him. Well, light him on fire. I was like, "That is amazing. I love it." That's what really brings the story full circle, you know? And so he basically like slow-mo walks up onto the stage going like, "Ah, ah, ah," he's on fire, which I imagine would hurt. So he goes up on the stage and kind of like collapses or whatever. This is another scene that I thought was so good where it basically shows her like it's like from the POV of the stage where this guy's body is like burning, and it shows her like run to the door and unlock it, and she runs out into the daylight, and the cop car is literally right there. Like they were just right there the entire time. And so my thing is like what what was the point of them sitting there that whole time? Like, they should have been inside the building or, like, should have made sure the door was open or something, like, I don't know, they were just totally useless or whatever.
Well, they are cops.
That's what I'm saying, right? That's why I said this movie is really realistic.
Hmm?
Um, so she basically there's, like, this, like, scene of her sitting in the cop car, like, with her, like, trauma blanket, as they do. And there's, like, all these paparazzi just, like, yelling at her from outside the cop car, and she has to, like, watch the bodies of,
When's the
like
play open?
like, actually, "Did you kill that guy? Did you kill him? Are you a murderer now?" Like, essentially.
What role are you
And
playing?
like, kind of, yeah. And she's, like, watching as, like, all of the bodies and the weapons that the killer used to, like, bring everybody over are just, like, taken out of the playhouse, and I was like, "Well, that sucks." Then they finally drive away after everything has been removed. So the next scene, she's at the hospital, and the nurse is like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna call you cab. Like, are you okay?" And she's like, "Yeah, that would be great." There was this whole thing at the beginning of the movie where she couldn't find her purse, and then when she found the purse, she was like rooting through it. It was like, "Oh my god, my watch is gone." Then she like finds her watch and puts it on, and it's like this gold watch, and she makes like a comment about how it's like the most um expensive thing that she owns, and she's like loves the watch. It's important to her. So she is at the hospital and she looks down and realizes that her watch is missing, and she's like, "Oh my god, my watch." So she gets in a cab and goes back to the theater where Willie just happens to be like riding his bike there. It's also like but like Willie was sent home with the rest of the staff, so like that's why he was not there to get killed. And so she runs up and is like, "Oh, Willie, Willie, I can't find my watch. Like, I think it's still inside. I need to go in." He's like, "Oh, sorry. Like, I can't. It's the police orders. I can't go in there." And she's like, please." And he's like, "Okay, I guess." Um, so he opens the door for her. He also has a newspaper that he's reading to her about the incident that happened. They are calling the Soundstage Massacre, which again makes sense as the title, right? Um, then Willie is basically just like, "Hey, also, by the way, idiot, that gun that you found in my office was loaded. You just didn't take the safety off." And he goes on and on about how like you would have blown that guy away. You would have killed him immediately if only you took the safety off. There was
It's
bullets in
so
there.
funny how long he talks about this.
It goes on for, like, a solid minute at least, and I was like, "Bro, what is going on?" It's just, like, another one of those scenes where I just was like, "What is happening here?" It was, like,
It goes
really
on
weird.
the whole rest of the film.
Yes,
Like
yeah.
Which is like
all the
2
way to
hours.
the
The second 2 hour half of the movie. So, basically, like, he's just, like, talking about how, like, "Yeah, you coulda got him right between the eyes. You could have just really blown that guy away if only you took the safety off." Like, so
watch this movie, but take a shot every time he says right between the eyes.
you would
And you'll be
die.
fine for an hour and 29 minutes, and then you'll
And then
fucking die in the last minute.
you will die. This will be the last movie you'll ever watch. So, this is
Worth
happening.
it.
she's like looking around for her watch and she ends up finding it, but then when she stands up, all of a sudden Willie's gone and he just like stopped talking about the gun. He's completely gone when she turns around. And she's like, that's weird. And so she's like looking at the crime scene and is basically talking about how I don't know. What happened here is basically he says like, "Oh, there was like 9 victims," and she's like, "9 victims?" And she's like looking at the crime scene and where everybody was like staged by the killer, there's like an evidence, so it's like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, whatever. And she's like looking around and I was like, "Oh my god, did she actually die and she didn't make it out of there?" Like that's where I thought this was going.
Oh, I assumed
Like
your theory was going to be that it was a Jacob's Ladder scenario, but it was the lionfish was dying and imagining the whole thing.
that would have been
Man, now
I
that's
would
a
have
movie.
I would have done a standing ovation in my office, to be honest with you, if that's what happens. I really thought either this was gonna all end up being the play, or I thought that she died and, like, didn't make it, which neither of those things happen, unfortunately, because basically what happens
Sad.
is she's like, "8 victims, where's the ninth?" And she turns around and the killer is behind her, and he's there, of course, after falling the entire height of the building and then being set on fire, he's somehow there, of course, and he goes to like lunge at her or whatever. But then Willie just like shoots him right between the eyes and he's dead. And then Willie says, right between the eyes, Allie, did you see that? I shot him right between the eyes over and over
Just like I
and
said I
If
over.
you
would.
if you would have
He's
had
like,
this gun and not had the safety on, you could have blown this guy's head off just like I did.
yep, I just went to get the gun and then I shot that guy between the eyes, just like I said, just like you should have
Right
done.
between
And
the eyes.
he just keeps going and going. Alice looks down and sees that when the killer like jumped at her, she dropped her watch, and now her watch is broken. And she picks up the pieces, and then literally like again, it's just like a shot from the stage, long shot of her like leaving the sound stage as Willie continues to just say right between the eyes for like a while. And I was
Not
like,
long
what
enough.
the fuck? Um, and that's Stage Fright.
Oh,
You
don't
know,
Uh,
forget that it ends with him smirking at the camera. He's
yeah,
not
he
dead at
looks at the
all.
camera after being shot right between the eyes
Yeah,
and
right
winks.
between the eyes.
he was the gun the whole time.
Yep.
Yeah. He became the bullet. He's a
That's
method
right.
actor?
It actually would have been so funny to me if then it just like cut to the lionfish and then there's just like, were you dreaming?
It should have. The lionfish should have been the entire credits.
I feel like they should have brought him
Yeah,
back for sure. Yeah. But
100%.
yeah, that was it.
The movie rocks. I need to watch the remake with Meatloaf still.
Yeah.
It's got like it's got like I don't know, it's like decent ratings on Letterboxd. So it might be good. Who knows?
I'm sure
I,
it's at least whatever.
yeah, I will absolutely at least watch the Bollywood remake at some point if I can find it, because I bet that shit rocks.
I
If you're
hope
gonna make it, like, I hope the owl mask is just like absolutely unhinged looking at it.
there's no way it's not. I can't even imagine, but like I actually kind of feel like I really liked the opening scene of the movie where they were showing them like actually doing the play, and then we only ever see like two other kind of rehearsals, and I do wish that there was like more parts of the play in it for us to see, and I imagine that the Bollywood is just all one big play. So I would be interested to see it.
Yeah, I need to try to track that down, because I remember after I watched this for the first time, finding out about that, being like, I bet that shit rocks, or it's like, oh, just borderline unwatchable. There's probably like no in between. So
No in between.
because like I watched the Evil Dead one and it's very good, and it's just so weird to see like Evil Dead with big ass dance numbers in it. So I wonder what this is like.
Right.
So I'll end up watching that at some point. Um, all right, Katie, what'd you watch since the last time we recorded?
Let's me see. After Assault on Dome 4 was the last thing. I am Mark Safe from my mystery movie I was talking about because it did end up being They Will Kill You,
Thanks.
which was really good. Extremely I immediately was laughing because like I had not heard of it. I went with my mother-in-law and her cousin, and he's, like, in his 70s, and also neither of them like horror movies, and then their, like, neighbor who is also probably around the same age or whatever, and so the movie is extremely not for that kind of audience. There's a lot of well, I think just go watch it if you want to. I really liked it. I thought it was good. It took a turn that I just like really did not see coming because it starts off kind of like I thought it was gonna be just like a drama movie because it's like the girl and her sister like running away from like a domestic abuse situation, and then it turns into like kind of like a Kill Bill type thingish if I were to compare it to something. So I had a feeling Kit would really like it, but it was definitely something. I will say that.
Yeah, it
Um
fucking slaps.
it was pretty great. Um, somebody's
Should have been an episode of Bones.
I would have walked out, I think. That would have been so
What if
weird.
no? They lock the doors so you can't get out. All the locks are on the
Oh
outside,
my god. Right, because I'm in
and
Italy.
then
I forgot.
just somebody in a David Boreanaz mask.
That would be so scary. Oh my god. You know what I'm not gonna lie, do you know what I think about all the time is the fact that in Bones, one of the canon things is that like his character Booth is related to John Wilkes Booth, like actually factually in the show.
Yeah,
And it's like it's like a point of contention for him. Like they're like, "Oh, don't bring it up." And I'm like, "What a insane thing to have as like part of your character's background." I don't know. And so then I got access to Disney Plus again, so I watched like some of like the my old Disney Channel movies. I watched one called True Confessions, which I had seen before, but it was really insane because Shia LaBeouf is in it as like a character who is like um I don't know, mentally challenged in some way. They don't actually like say, but like obviously Shia LaBeouf is not. So seeing him act that out in a movie from 2002 for the Disney Channel was like definitely a
Ooh,
choice. Um I also forgot that they also did a movie with the youngest Lawrence brother where he's a wrestler but he's blind. And like he's not actually blind in real life. So I was like, I'm just like not really sure if they were the best avenue to be showing this kind of material to children. Anyways, so I watched that one and then I also rewatched another one that was called Stepsister from Planet Weird. That one was just like fun and goofy. It's like whatever. Then I finally watched Tourist Trap from 1979. I don't know
boo.
what I don't know what the hell was going on in that
I got
movie,
a
but
hot take. I do not like that movie.
well
Everyone else does.
I gave it 2 stars. So it was not my favorite. I could not tell what the hell was going on in it. It was like weird, and to me not in a good way. And then I just heard a bang and now I see a bunch of smoke outside my window.
That's probably fine.
that's
Yeah,
exciting.
I think so. Then I watched Fantastic Four First Steps. Also a no from me. And I think that's it. Oh no, I also watched a movie called House on Eden, which is a found footage style movie made by some TikTokers, which I think pretty much explains how I felt about it.
Yeah,
5
that sounds
stars.
bad.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. What about you, Kit?
Let's see. I also saw They Will Kill You. Super good. Absolutely insane shit at the tail end of the movie. I was hooting and hollering.
Yeah, I was kicking my
Uh,
feet in my little recliner.
I watched Salt, which is not good, but uh, it does have the justification that Angelina Jolie's partner got to North Korea because he's an arachnologist, and that gives him unfettered access to the North Korean border.
Sure.
Oh.
Yeah,
you know what? I
study
have heard that.
spiders. You can go wherever you want.
I've heard
Just
that
makes
actually.
sense.
Yeah.
And then I rewatched Mortal Kombat because it's perfect.
Hell yeah.
I watched a handful of absolute dog shit before I moved. I watched 5 of the movies that Visual Vengeance has like re-scanned and done like, newer so they look good versions of these movies on Tubi. So I watched Torment from 2008, which is just about a fucking killer clown, and it sucks shit. Absolutely terrible. Cannot recommend. I watched The Tomb from 2006, which I can recommend, is a Bruno Mattei movie where he just essentially made the Brendan Fraser Mummy movie, but stole a bunch of footage from like Army of Darkness, The Mummy, and Indiana Jones. And it
Sure.
sucks, but 5 stars. Hard recommend. Go watch it. It's pretty bad, but I would say go watch it if you want to watch something absolutely insane. I watched 1997's Time Tracers, which I do not remember anything about, but I gave it 2 stars, so I guess it was okay. And then I watched 2006's Storm of the Dead, which was dog shit. A movie promising A, a storm, and B, zombies. And it's actually just following a bunch of dumb shit Florida militia dudes running around after a storm and making sure people aren't looting. And then there's like,
Oh
I
my
don't
God.
know, a voodoo queen in there at some point that has like a zombie son that attacks somebody, maybe fucking 90 minutes into the movie. 90
Okay.
minutes into the 86-minute movie. It's so fucking boring. It is just these fucking people like hanging out in like the forest and talking for, I don't know, 80 of the 86 minutes. And then I watched 2011 Sinister, which I gave half a star, but I also don't remember anything about. Even like the the fucking description on Letterboxd, I don't remember any of this. So clearly, it made 0 impact on me, other
Perfect.
than as half a star.
I don't think
And
you
then,
understand, Nathan. It's the scariest movie ever made.
oh, sure, yeah, wrong Sinister. Also, I probably would have given that half a star as well. But then today I watched Fantasy
Yes.
Mission Force, a Jackie Chan movie that Jackie Chan is in for maybe 2 scenes and did to not get murdered by the triads. So pretty good. 3.5 stars. It is a bonkers movie. Yeah. Other than that, fucking Dimension 20 on a Bus season 2.
Incredible.
The fucking greatest thing that's
Arc.
ever happened. They so fucking mad the entire time. It rocks.
Yeah.
And then at some point when
Howling.
Katie Maravich is just like, yeah, there's points. Somebody's gonna win. And Brendan's like, so wait, what? What? Can I give you $1 for 100 points? She's like, yeah, go ahead. Like, immediately starts taking it so seriously. everyone else is like, how do you win at D&D?
He gets the DM and he's like, and also I give myself 20 billion points. All right.
What a king. There's like a very quick thing I also watched. I guess they're trying to do like Jeopardy on YouTube now, I guess, to maybe try to bring in a younger audience. But I watched
Brendan and Monet exchange.
Yeah, and Rebecca Black, and it's it's short. It's only 20 minutes, which sucks. I wish it was longer, but it was pretty good. And it's all because all the questions were about like YouTube shit, so I didn't know anything anyone was talking about. But
yeah.
All about
but
vaping.
Yeah.
Something the youth are into.
Yep. But I'll watch more if they do more of that. All right, Katie, what do you want to shout out?
Essentially the only thing that else I've been doing with my free time is playing Pokopia, so that's my shout out.
That's a Pokemon thing.
Yeah, it's for the Switch 2, and it's actually, like, kind of bleak because you are a Ditto, which, like, if people don't know Pokemon, it's essentially just like a purple blob guy, and he's got, like, 2 little beady eyes and a smile, and he can, like, transform into other Pokemon. So you are a Ditto, and you, like, transform into kind of what looks like a person, sort of. But the whole point of it is that you, like, wake up and you meet this guy, and he's like, "Hey, really not a guy, he's a Pokemon, but he's like, all the people have disappeared, and also all the Pokemon have disappeared. So there's nobody here. It's just like a desolate post-apocalyptic Pokemon game, kind of. And it's sort of like Animal Crossing, like, mixed with, like, a bunch of other games where you can, like, terraform and, like, build stuff, and you basically, like, make habitats for Pokemon to, like, show up or whatever, but it's actually, like, kind of sad because you're, like, picking up these reports along the way of, like, people talking about like, you're kind of getting clues as to what happened to all the people and stuff. So for a Pokemon game, it's kind of dark, but, it's so much fun, and it's pretty addictive, so that's
They
All
should
why.
right.
make it like Fury Road, but like everyone's on a Zapdos chasing each other
I
through the
agree.
Pokemon desert.
Yeah, the
Just put,
Pokemon Desert.
just put like Pikachu in like just the insane scenarios, like Kid said, like Mad Max or whatever.
Yeah.
To have
I would
Squirtle playing that guitar on the end of the fucking truck.
the
Yeah.
yeah, the Charmander.
Strung up.
Yep.
We
I'd play it.
we will shout out Kit.
I guess I'll also go with a game. I've been playing Marathon a lot. I say a lot. I haven't played it all this week because life.
Kit's like, I played it
But
once.
I
I made it through
I
the opening
played it a
played
credits.
lot
it a
last
lot
week.
for 5 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Um,
real good. It's difficult. I'm real bad at it.
I'm gonna shout out the new Neurosis.
Oh,
Pretty
hell
good.
yeah.
Bringing Aaron Turner in. Smart idea.
Imagine getting your dream job like that.
It's just like I remember like Lindsay texting us in my group text. We're just like new Neurosis with Aaron Turner, and I was like, just fucking that's such a good idea. Like if you're
Right?
going to
Excuse
replace
me?
Scott Kelly, like I think that's who it was. Like just
Yeah.
it's Aaron Turner's just like the only choice you could really make, and it's very good. There's a bunch of good shit that's come out recently, or is like have been stuff that has been announced coming out that I'm excited for. But yeah, go listen to that new Neurosis. It's pretty good. All right. Which one do you want to pick a good movie for the next episode?
I'll pick one.
All right.
How about Nothing But Trouble from 1991?
Hell
Boy.
yeah.
Thought we said good movie.
I think it is a good movie. I haven't seen it in a
Yeah.
long time, but
I
I
think you're
think
going to
it
be
is.
sorely mistaken when you watch it.
Oh no. Well,
Either way, this is a
Any
movie
movie that
we're going
has
to end up
Tupac in it is good.
covering
All
at
right?
some point.
yeah.
Tupac
Well,
and Dan Aykroyd's penis nose.
ugh.
I
I
might have to see if Shane's around because Shane has been like, "How have you not done Nothing But Trouble?"
Oh yeah, this
Like a
is
bunch
a
of times.
powerfully Shane film.
I don't yeah, we'll see. I remember liking it, but well, I'm nervous now.
I'm so interested to see what you think on a rewatch because this movie is unhinged
Yeah, yeah.
and it's
Well,
got all perfect good guy Chevy Chase in it.
yep.
So
Yep.
I think it'll be great. I don't think there will be anything
nothing
um
problematic whatsoever in this
no, I
movie.
don't think so.
Nope.
I think it'll be really
Certainly
good.
not.
It is
Um,
on Tubi, so
yeah, it's probably on like fucking YouTube like 100 times as well.
yeah.
Um,
I wonder if I still have a DVD of it.
Katie does. She bought
I
it at the
used
thrift
to.
store.
I did thrift it recently. So you know what's funny is that like we were gonna do something and like you weren't here, Kit, and I was like, oh, why don't we do Nothing But Trouble? because I had seen it on Tubi, and he was like, "No, we need to wait for Kit," and I was like,
I was
"Okay,
like, that
that's
is
fine."
absolutely a movie Kit needs to be here for.
And then,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
literally the next day, I went thrifting and I found, like, a DVD copy of it. But, like, the ones where, like, the cover used to be cardboard or whatever, I found it. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah. That's the one that I had with the little,
yeah.
like, plastic lip to unsnap and
Yeah,
open it up.
Yeah, and so I was like, "I
Yep.
think this is meant to be," like
I miss those.
so
The packaging rocks.
yeah,
Right?
I've been actually thrifting a lot of them recently that have I don't I'm like
I
it's
assume you
like
mean a lot of
things
copies
don't
of
nec
Nothing But Trouble.
yes, the same movie.
I've
I
been
got
thrifting exclusively copies of
Yeah,
Nothing But Trouble.
Katie's like that dude who's only buying those VHS tapes of
of
Speed, where he had
Titanic.
like fucking
Yeah.
1,000 of them or whatever.
I was
Katie's just
gonna say, there's somebody who does that for copies of Titanic.
there's somebody who does it for like every fucking bad movie.
Probably. Should I do we could watch Swim Fan again.
No, I'm telling
Hell
you,
yeah.
Corky. If my DMs from yesterday or anything, you guys start buying VHS copies of Corky Romano because
Okay.
people were very mad that I said it was a prized possession.
Listen, I think we need to do Corky Romano on Maine, to be honest with
Like,
you.
like clearly you missed that that is a joke because it's next to Evil
Yeah.
Dead 2.
Right.
But people were like, "Excuse me, what the fuck?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man, this movie rocks."
Blocked and reported,
Duh.
unfollowed.
Yeah.
All right. If you would like to support us, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/happysufferpodcast. Probably right before or right after this episode drops, Katie and I recorded an episode on 2 episodes of Unsolved Mysteries. I don't remember anything we said in it except for that we talked about Henry Rollins for a little bit.
Yeah,
That's about all I remember at this point. And Jeremy Hunt making us a theme song for it
I'm so
that
excited.
I've heard a rough mix of, and it's insane. It rocks.
I think if like obviously it's a bonus episode, and I think that I literally said like I had the thought of like I just want to do this so that Jeremy will make us the mix, because Unsolved Mysteries undoubtedly has one of the best
Greatest theme
songs
songs.
ever,
Yeah.
and like we need to be a part of that. So
Yeah. Patreon.com/IPSufferPodcast. If you would go listen to that shit. I don't remember what the bonus episode. Oh, People's Joker. That's
yeah,
right. That movie. Very good.
yeah.
You can leave us a rating and review wherever you listen to this. You can buy some merch at our Redbubble shop. You can follow Kit at Hidden Kitstery and Kitchification of Blood. You can follow Katie at WerewolfFace. Join Katie's Patreon at patreon.com/werewolfface. You can listen to my other podcast, AK Movie Club. Oh, God, I got to mentally prepare myself to rewatch Nothing But Trouble now.
I'm nervous now. I should have got something else.
No, you're probably still going to fucking
too late.
love it.
Okay. All right. I hope so.
All right. Yeah. Nothing But Trouble next week. I hope you I hope you're a lionfish. But why? I hope you're a lionfish that isn't dying and having a Jacob's Ladder scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope you are.